Hello, fellow SDMers. We are Team 28A. But first, a quick word from our sponsor, Stanley Black & Decker.
Who can make your hair curl and paint the town? Who can stir things up and cut them down to size? Black & Decker. That's right, Black & Decker. And we're a whole lot more than we used to be. We're innovative ideas at work for you all over the house. Kitchen and garden, bathroom and workshop, with ingenious new products that make your whole life easier. Black & Decker. Ideas at work.
Thank you, Stanley Black & Decker. They have been around over 175 years, serving many generations of makers and doers. We're excited for you to join us as we peek into the future.
Hello, and welcome to the future. We're pleased to introduce you to our team project, iMetaHome 3.0. Something, AI, and blockchain. As you just saw in that commercial, Stanley Black & Decker has also consistently positioned itself on the cutting edge of technology within the household. So let's go take a look. Jeremy, over to you.
Thank you, Jason. I'm going to introduce you to the system that we'll be working on throughout the semester, your typical suburban single-family household. Here's a breakdown of the operational environment of this system. However, this specific model, built inside the metaverse, was absolutely free. Stanley Black & Decker wants to know what the future of electrified single-family homes will look like. So let's venture through some of the basics. Let's turn it over to Shaitan outside.
Thanks, Jeremy. So here you can see where the electricity for our iMetaHome comes from. It is produced by a combination of sources, including non-renewable or carbon-emitting sources like this coal-fired power plant, or renewable and non-carbon emitting sources like this windmill. Our residential home receives that power by connecting to the local electricity grid. Homeowners are increasingly more concerned about climate change and seek to lower greenhouse gas emissions in order to curb global temperature increases. One way to do that is by lowering our reliance on carbon-emitting electricity sources like coal, by generating our own electricity via technologies like residential solar photovoltaics. So let's go take a look at the roof. Here, on our roof, we are generating our own residential electricity using this solar photovoltaic subsystem. Only 1% of homes can generate and store their own power like this, and they cost about 8% more than a normal home. If we consider this lowering technology cost, consumer studies show people are willing to pay 4% more on their home to make it have zero greenhouse gas emissions. Then we can see that sustainable living and electrification are likely going to be rapidly growing market segments that will require companies like Stanley Black & Decker to enter in order to service their next generation customers and preserve a competitive product portfolio. I'm now going to throw it over to Jason to take us inside.
Thanks, Shaitan. I'm here inside the garage of our metaversial single-family house system. The garage is just one form of spatially partitioned living spaces inside a home. A typical single-family home system has a variety of other spatially partitioned living spaces, each one with its own primary value-delivered function. When we combine these different subsystems together, we arrive at a magical property called emergence. Our house becomes more than just the sum of its subsystems and appliances and living spaces. It becomes a home that provides us with security, independence, safety, comfort, control, and even a little bit of personality. So here I am in my garage. The primary value delivered function of a garage is to store things like vehicles, tools, or miscellaneous supplies and equipment. Now let's go inside this iMetaHome and see what other subsystems we can find. Here's one called the kitchen. The primary value delivered function of which is storing, eating, and attempting to cook food without catching it on fire. Here's another subsystem called a living room, commonly used for entertaining, relaxing, and socializing. Inside of this subsystems is a key appliance found in many homes, a widescreen TV. Now I'll go downstairs to see what more can we find. Walking past my home theater, we can get to my utility room. Let's go inside. It looks like we have two more vital subsystems within a zero-emission single-family home system, the battery and the inverter. The primary value of these subsystems are to store a reserve supply of solar power for my MetaHouse to run on when the sun isn't shining. Because my house is digitally enabled, I can see how much charge I have, as well as how much of the power I'm using is generated from the coal plant or the windmill or the solar panels that are on top of my house. This helps me get a better understanding of my carbon footprint. It looks like my battery is running pretty good. It's got 73% charge and it's pulling energy from my solar panels right now. I like having my battery fully charged because I'm able to sell back my excess electricity to the utility company, or I'm able to sell it to Jeff down the road. These are just a few of many components within a single family home system. Before we close out, let's talk about a few other things from the TA's checklist. Over to you, Orson, in the home theater.
Thank you, Jason. Now, let me get this presentation up and running. So let's first talk about system stakeholders, which include customers, internal partners, and external partners. So after our initial meeting with Stanley Black & Decker, they sent us their initial infrastructure, and that helped us to start framing the problem. Next, we want to talk about our system boundary for our project, which is here within the red square. After figuring out where to start, we piloted our ideation session with our TA, Bruce. We've completed our charter, we've completed our ConOps, and we have a pretty good idea where iMetaHouse 3.0 will go in the future. So that is our presentation.
Thanks for visiting.